sign in link that's in the top right corner of all the SkiTrails pages. So you click on that and you see the login page. The login details, you use the email address you've been communicating with, or just get in touch and we'll set up an account for you. If you don't know your username or password, or you're just getting signed in for the first time, you can use the forgot username or password link at the bottom there to email you a new password. So once you're signed in, first page you see is the trail report page. Quick overview of this page: it lets you add comments to the public trail report, and once you've got some trails set up, you can manually override. Let's say you forgot to take your tracking device or something, you can enter last groomed dates. You can also open and close trails as you do maintenance or as your season progresses. This video is mostly about the map editor though. I'll cover the other settings and things in another video. So on the left, there's a menu, and the interesting item here is the trails link. So if you click on that, this page lets you add trails to your map. I'm starting with a blank map here, so I'll go ahead and add a couple of trails. And I'm also going to add a couple of trail groups. Trail groups are handy if your trail system is big and you typically present your trails grouped together. For example, the upper trail system and lower trail system, or the benchlands, or whatever works for you. Not everybody has trail groups. You don't have to use them, but I'll add one here just as an example. So let's call ours the upper trails, and then once we've got a group, we need to say which trails belong to it. So you click on the edit button for a trail, choose the group, and save it. We'll add both of our example trails to the upper. Once you've got all your trails set up, then it's time to edit your map. So you click on map. This is an example map. If you've already got a tracking device linked to your account and you've been out there with it, then you'll see these orange lines that start to appear. This is the last 60 days of tracker activity in the region of your map. You can use this to, if you're adding new trails, you can trace a line over these tracks. Lets you zoom in and see where you've grooming machines have gone, or where you're taking trackers. You can go out there in summer with a tracker, map out all your trails, and then use this editing tool to set them up. So to add a new trail section to your map, you use this little straight line icon on the left. If you put your mouse over it, it says draw a polyline. So you click on that, and then you don't have to trace the orange. You can if you want. You just click to start drawing, and you draw your line. Each time you click, it adds a new point. When you're done, click on the last point, and the line shows up in red. At this point, it won't show up on your public map yet. You have to link this to one of your trails. So if you click on the line, all these little white squares will appear, and then on the left, you'll see this object details, and you can say this line belongs to Dan's trail. A little tick mark appears next to it there, and it's linked. The line goes grey unless you set the difficulty. So if I set it to easy, it'll be green. If I set it to difficult, it'll be black, and so on and so forth. You can draw as many of these little sections as you like. So you can just keep adding lines, like so. You can link them to the same trail, or you can link them to different trails. So Dan's trail, for example, could be made up of two parts. You can also set the difficulty of these different parts separately. So this may be part of Dan's trail, but this is a difficult section, and it shows up in black. On the trail report, the difficulty of any given trail is as hard as its most difficult section. So Dan's trail here would show up as black with a black diamond because the most difficult section is the black one. Once you've drawn all your lines, if you need to edit them, you click on the line, you can drag the solid white markers around to move points. If you want to split a straight section, you click on the translucent one and it sort of divides it in half and lets you add more fine-grained detail. If you want to split this line in half, let's say you've made a mistake or you've got a long track and you're dividing it into two trails, click on the line, find the point where you want to divide it, and then right-click on that section. So use the right mouse button. The map will reload, and you can now see that that point is divided in two. And then you can, move this trail section to something different. For example trail. One thing to note is these little lines that you draw can belong to multiple trails. So if you have like a common central trail where typically, trails join it and then exit again on the other side partway down, you can say, this segment belongs to trail 1, trail 2, and trail 3. On the public map, when you highlight it, it'll show as highlighted no matter which trail you print on, and that works well when the system's calculating what's being groomed as well. So that's adding new trails in a nutshell. They'll show up in red when they're not linked yet. So anything in red needs to be either linked to a trail or removed. It won't show up on the public map. This one, let's do example trail number 2. The other interesting parts of the map editor are the shape tool. This lets you draw areas on your map. There's a few different types. I'll just draw an example one here. If you click on the map to highlight it, here are the options. So ignore grooming here. This will hide grooming on your map. This is handy for drawing over the top of, say, your maintenance shed, where you don't want grooming to show up, or access roads that you drive your grooming equipment along that aren't actually being groomed. You can just hide those, and it shows up in black. Buildings show up in grey. Parking areas, skiable zones, this might be like a teaching area or a stadium, and closed areas. These show up in red on the map. All of these can be labeled as well. You can type in and when the user zooms in on the public map, they'll see that little piece of text shown in the middle of this shape. The final part is map markers or waypoints. That's the last little icon on the menu here. So you can drop a marker, say put it in the middle of the map. By default, it's this yellow circle. Yellow circles are handy for things like trail junctions, that sort of thing. You can change the type. So there's a few predefined icons here. More will be added in the future. We'll give you the ability to upload your own. These are just a few of the built-in ones at this stage. So that's editing the map in a nutshell. Any changes you make here take between 5 and 10 minutes to show up on the public website. So once you've made some changes, wait a couple of minutes, and then go ahead and reload the public page, and everything you've done should show up. Thanks for listening.